Let me tell you the biggest lie in the agency world, that to build a 100K a month agency, you need a big team. You don't. In fact, the agencies I've seen collapse the fastest, they had the biggest teams, the most overhead, the most complexity, and the least profit. I've built agencies to 8 figures. I've had 75 people on payroll, 3 offices, and I can tell you from experience, more people does not mean more money. Most of the time, it means more problems, more cost, and less control. The agencies quietly hitting 100K a month right now, all of them have 4 people, maybe 5. A tight elite team running a system that most founders with 20 employees would kill for. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how that model works, the revenue math, the team structure, the operating system behind it, all of it. But before I do, I need to show you why most agencies never get there. Because it's not what you think. And if you don't understand this first, the rest of the video won't land the way it needs to. Why most agencies never hit 100K. Here's what the typical agency growth story looks like. You start solo, you're good at something, clients come in, revenue grows, and at some point you get busy, really busy. So you hire someone to help. And then you get busier, so you hire again and again. And suddenly you have a team and payroll and more complexity than you ever anticipated. And somehow, despite making more revenue than you've ever made, you're taking home less money than when you were doing it alone. Sounds familiar? Here's what's actually happening. Most agency owners scale their headcount before they scale their systems. They hire to solve problems that should be solved with process. And every new hire adds cost, adds management overhead, adds dependency, without necessarily adding leverage. And here's the first reason why most agencies never hit 100K a month. They're underpriced. Not slightly underpriced, significantly underpriced. They're doing 5K, 6K, 7K retainers when the work they're delivering is worth 2 or 3 times more than that. And because they're underpriced, they need more clients to hit their revenue targets every month. More clients means more work. More work means more hires. More hires means margins get crushed. It's a trap, and most agency owners are in it without realizing it. The second reason, and this one is the one that really keeps agencies stuck, the founder is still doing delivery. You're still the one writing copy, building the campaigns, reviewing the creative, jumping on client calls to explain strategy. You're the best delivery person in the business, and that's exactly the problem. Because as long as you're in delivery, you can't build the business. You can't work on positioning. You can't build systems. You can't focus on clients that would actually pay you what you're worth. You're too busy doing the work to build the thing that does the work. And here's the brutal truth. Most agency owners will stay stuck in this loop forever. Not because they're not talented, not because they're not working hard, but because they're solving the wrong problem. They think they need more clients. They need better pricing and a system that doesn't depend on them. But here's the thing, even when founders understand that, most of them still can't make the shift. And I'll tell you exactly why later in this video, because it's not what you think. First, let me show you what's changed. Because the model I'm about to describe wasn't possible 5 years ago. But right now, in 2026, it's not just possible, it's the smartest way to build. The shift, why small teams now win. Something fundamental has changed in the agency world. Execution has become commoditized. Think about what that means. The things that used to require a full team, content production, ad management, reporting, research, first drafts, a significant portion of that can now be done faster, cheaper, and at scale using AI and specialized freelancers. Which means the value of an agency is no longer in execution. It's in the judgment, the strategy, the positioning, the ability to look at clients' businesses to know exactly what needs to happen and in what order. That's not something AI can replace. That's not something a freelancer marketplace can commoditize. That's operator level thinking. And it's what clients are actually paying for, even if they don't actually articulate it that way. And here's what this shift means for team structure. A small elite team with strong systems and smart AI leverage can now outperform a bloated team with 20 people and no clarity. Because the 20-person agency is paying for execution. The 4-person agency is selling judgment, and judgment commands a premium. This is why lean teams are now a competitive advantage, not a limitation, not a sign that you're small, but a genuine edge. Because when your team is small, communication is fast, decisions are fast, quality control is tight, and your margins are healthy enough to actually invest in the things that matter. And here's the part most people miss. A small team only works if the model is right, if the pricing is right, if the client load is right, if the systems are right. And that's exactly what I'm going to break down now. The actual math behind 100K a month agencies with 4 people. The 100K model with real math. Let's get specific, because this is where most conversations about agency growth stay vague, and vague doesn't help you. Here's what 100K a month actually looks like with a lean team. 10 clients, $10,000 a month each, that's your number. Now, 10 clients at $10,000 is not the same as 20 clients at 5K. And the difference matters more than most people realize. 20 clients at 5K means 20 sets of deliverables, 20 sets of expectations, 20 relationships to manage, 20 chances of something going wrong. And at 5K, most clients are price sensitive. They're comparing you to cheaper options. They're questioning every invoice. 10 clients at 10K is a completely different business. Fewer relationships, higher quality work. Clients who are invested in the outcome. Clients who trust your judgment because they're paying for it. And here's the margin math. At 100K revenue with a lean 4-person team, your payroll and direct cost should sit somewhere between 40 and 50K a month. That leaves you with 50 to 60K in gross profit every single month. That's not possible at 5K a month retainers with 20 clients, because 20 clients require more people, more management, more everything. Your margins get eaten alive. But 10 clients at 10K, that's a business that runs clean. And the obvious question, how do I get 10K retainers? 2 things, positioning and social proof. If you're positioned as a generalist, as someone who does digital marketing or social media management, you will never command a 10K a month retainer, because generalists compete on price and there's always someone cheaper. But if you're positioned as a specialist, as someone who solves a specific expensive problem for a specific type of business, that conversation changes completely. You're not competing on price, you're competing on outcome, and outcomes are worth paying for. I'll come back to positioning in a minute, because it's the thing most founders get wrong, and it's the thing that determines whether the entire model works or falls apart. But first, let me show you the team, because this is where it actually gets interesting. The 4-person team. 4 people. Here's who they are and what they actually do. Person 1, the operator. That's you, the founder. And here's what's critical. In this model, you are not doing delivery. You are not writing copy, building campaigns, or managing clients' work day to day. Your job is 3 things: strategy, relationships, and growth. You're the one who sets the direction for each client. You're the one who has high-level conversations. You're the one who's building the positioning, refining the offer, and making sure the business is moving forward. You are the brain of the operation, not the hands. And I know what you're thinking, but my clients want to work with me, they hired me. I hear it all the time. And that is a trap, because if every client needs you personally to deliver, you've built a job, not a business. We'll come back to this. Person 2, the delivery lead. This is the most important hire. This person owns the quality of the work. They understand your standards. They can execute at a high level without you in the room. And they manage the freelancer and AI tools that support the actual production. This is not a junior hire. This is someone who's done this before. Someone who can look at a piece of work and know immediately whether it meets the standard or not. And here's what they don't do. They don't manage client relationships. They don't handle reporting. They don't deal with scope creep conversations. That's not their job. Person 3, the project manager. This person is the operational backbone of the agency. They own the timelines, the delivery, the client communications, and the reporting. They make sure nothing falls through the cracks. They're the reason why clients feel taken care of without you being involved in every conversation. A great project manager is worth more than most founders realize, because they're the ones who make the client experience feel seamless. And seamless client experience is what drives retention, and retention is what drives profit. Person 4, acquisition. This could be a dedicated salesperson. It could be someone who owns your outreach and content strategy. Depending on your model, it might even be a fractional hire to start. But someone needs to own the pipeline. Someone needs to be responsible for making sure new conversations are happening consistently. Because if that job falls on you, and you're also doing strategy and client relationships, something will always get deprioritized. And it's usually acquisition. Now here's the part most people don't think about. These 4 people are supported by AI and a network of specialized freelancers. They're not doing everything themselves. They're directing, quality controlling, and managing a broader production system. That's the leverage. 4 people with the right tools and the right support can deliver at a level that used to require 15. And here's the thing about this team structure. It only works if one thing is true. And most agencies never get this right. The operating system. This is the section most agency content skips, and it's the most important one. Because you can have the right team, the right pricing, the right clients, and still fail, especially if you don't have the right operating system that holds it all together. 10 clients at 10K a month sounds manageable, and it is, if you have a clear system for how each client gets served. If you don't, 10 clients feels like chaos, because every client has different expectations, different communication styles, different deliverables, and without a system, your team is reinventing the wheel every single time. So here's what the operating system looks like in practice. Every client has a defined scope, not a vague retainer, a specific documented set of deliverables that everyone on your team and the client understands clearly. No ambiguity, no scope creep, clear deliverables, clear timelines, and clear ownership. Every week has a defined rhythm. Monday, the delivery team leads reviews with client priorities. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, production. Thursdays, a project manager does the client check-in and the reporting. Friday, internal reviews and planning for the following week. The rhythm doesn't change. It's not reactive. It's not built around whether a fire is burning that week. It's a system. And the system is what allows 4 people to serve 10 clients without burning out. Every client communication goes through the project manager. Not you, not the delivery lead, the project manager. This is non-negotiable because the moment you let client communication become ad hoc, the moment anyone on the team can be pulled into client conversations at any time, you lose the structure. And without the structure, you lose the leverage. And here's the insight that changes everything. The reason most agencies never scale is because the founder is still the best delivery person. And as long as that's true, as long as the founder is the one who does the best work, the business will never grow past what the founder can personally produce. Because clients will always want the founder. The founder will always feel like they need to be involved. And the team will never develop the confidence and capabilities to operate independently. The shift isn't just operational, it's psychological. You have to be willing to let the work be slightly less perfect in the short term so that the team can develop the capabilities to do it at your level over time. That's the hardest thing for most founders to do. And it's the thing that separates agencies that scale from agencies that plateau. But even when founders understand this, even when they commit to stepping back, most of them still fail. And the reason why is something nobody talks about directly. Why most founders still fail. Here's the honest truth. Most founders who try to build this model fail. Not because the model is wrong, because they can't let go. They say they want to step back from delivery, but every time a client asks a question, they jump back in. Every time a deliverable goes out, they review it. Every time there's a difficult conversation, they handle it personally. And they tell themselves it's because they have high standards, because they care about quality, because the client deserves the best. But what they're actually doing is preventing the team from ever developing the capability to operate without them. And the business stays exactly where it is. The second reason founders fail, and this one is more fundamental, is the fact that the offer is unclear. Not slightly unclear, fundamentally unclear. They can't answer the question, what do you do and who do you do it for, in one sentence without hedging, without adding qualifiers, without saying it depends. And if you can't answer that question clearly, your clients can't refer you clearly, your team can't deliver consistently, and your outreach can't resonate with anyone specifically. Unclear positioning is the silent killer of agency growth because everything downstreams from it. Your pricing, your client quality, your team structure, your retention, everything depends on being clear about what you do and who you do it for. The third reason, founders blame tactics instead of systems. The pipeline is inconsistent, so they try new outreach tools. Their clients are churning, so they try new service offerings. Their team is underperforming, so they hire someone new. But the problem was never the tactic. The problem was the system, or the absence of one. And you can't fix a system problem with a tactic. You can only make the problem more expensive. Here's the bottom line. Building a 100K a month agency with 4 people is not complicated, but it is hard because it requires you to do things that feel counterintuitive. Charge more, serve fewer clients, step back from delivery, build systems before you feel ready. Most founders know what they need to do. They just can't see it clearly enough from inside their own business to do it in the right order. And that's exactly where outside perspective changes everything. Let me bring this together. A 100K a month agency with 4 people is not a fantasy. It's a model. And it works when the pricing is right, when the positioning is clear, when the team is structured correctly, and the operating system holds it all together. 10 clients, $10,000 each, 4 people, clean margins. A system that runs without you in the middle of everything. That's the business. And here's what I want you to take away from this video. The reason most agencies never get there isn't a lack of talent. It isn't a lack of effort. It's a lack of clarity. Clarity on the offer, clarity on the model, clarity on what needs to be built and in what order. And clarity is very hard to find when you're inside the business. When you're the one doing the delivery, managing the clients, running the team, and trying to grow at the same time. That's what I help agency owners fix. I work one-on-one with a small number of agencies every quarter. We look at pricing, the positioning, the team structure, the operating system, everything. And we build a version of the business that can actually hit 100K a month without burning you out in the process. I've done this myself multiple times, and I've helped over 700 agency owners do the same. If you're somewhere between 10 and 100K a month and you feel like the growth should be faster, like the effort isn't matching the outcome, click the link below and book a call with me. It's a real conversation, not a pitch, not a webinar. Just 2 agency owners talking about what's actually broken and what it would take to fix it. The link is below. And if you're not ready for that yet, that's fine. Subscribe, keep watching, because everything I share here is real, it works, and it's free. I'll see you on the next one.